Have you ever noticed how some gifts, no matter how beautiful, bring strange tension, bad luck, or sudden arguments into your home? Not every present carries blessings. Some carry hidden energy that attracts evil and enemies. Stay with me, because these 10 common gifts might be silently stealing your peace and barakah without you realizing it. 1. Broken or damaged gifts. The hidden source of negativity. Many people don't realize how much impact broken or damaged items can have on their home's atmosphere. You might keep an old gift, a cracked vase, a chipped cup, or a torn piece of decor, simply because it was given by someone special. It may hold emotional value, but spiritually and energetically, such objects can become silent carriers of negativity. In Islam, cleanliness, beauty, and order are all connected to Iman, faith. When something is broken and left unrepaired, it often reflects neglect, both physical and spiritual. Imagine walking into a room where something is damaged. Even without noticing consciously, your mind registers a sense of disorder. Over time, these visual reminders of imperfection quietly affect your peace. According to scholars like Mufti Menk, Islam encourages believers to maintain a pure and calm environment because it influences the soul. When broken gifts are kept for too long, they symbolize attachment to what's incomplete, wasted, or past, and that weakens barakah, blessing, in the home. In spiritual terms, broken items may also hold stagnant or negative energy. Just as water that doesn't flow becomes stale, objects that are damaged and unused can block the natural flow of positive energy. Think of them as emotional clutter, things that tie you to moments that have already served their purpose. Instead of holding on to these gifts, consider one of 3 actions. Repair them with good intention, recycle them respectfully, or let them go with gratitude. When you release what's broken, you make space for something new, blessed, and beneficial to enter your life. This act itself becomes a form of cleansing, not just for your home, but for your heart. Keeping your surroundings neat, functional, and spiritually clean reflects gratitude to Allah for His blessings. When your home radiates harmony and order, it becomes a place where peace and positivity can flourish. So take a moment today to look around. If you find any broken gifts gathering dust, thank Allah for the memory and then release them. You'll be surprised how much lighter and more peaceful your home begins to feel once you do. 2. Gifts from people with bad intentions. When kindness hides negativity. Not every gift is given with a pure heart. Sometimes a smile can conceal jealousy, envy, or hidden resentment. A person may offer you a present not to bring joy, but to maintain appearance or to secretly wish you harm. In Islam, nazar, the evil eye, and jealousy are real forces that can affect a person's peace, health, and blessings. That's why Mufti Menk and many scholars remind us to be spiritually aware. Not every gift is a blessing. Have you ever received something from someone who didn't truly wish you well? Maybe you felt uneasy after bringing it home, arguments started, your mood changed, or you began sensing heaviness in the atmosphere. These reactions are not just coincidence. Objects can carry the emotional and spiritual energy of the person who owned or gave them. If that person harbored envy, their energy can linger in the gift and subtly disturb your environment. It's important to remember that Islam encourages good suspicion, husn al-dhan, and not paranoia. The goal isn't to mistrust everyone, but to stay cautious and spiritually clean. If you ever feel unsettled about a gift, don't ignore that feeling. Trust your intuition. It's often a sign from Allah guiding you to protect your peace. You can neutralize any harmful energy by reciting Ayat al-Kursi, Surah al-Falaq, and Surah An-Nas over the object. This simple act of remembrance, dhikr, purifies what you keep in your home. But if discomfort persists, it's better to let go of that item entirely. There's no blessing in holding on to something that brings tension or sadness. Also, avoid displaying such gifts prominently. Keep your home filled with things that remind you of Allah, bring calmness, and uplift your soul. Your home should be a sanctuary of peace, not a storage space for energies that don't align with you. Sometimes, the most powerful form of self-protection is quiet detachment. By removing gifts linked with jealousy or ill will, you not only cleanse your space, but also take a stand for your inner tranquility. Remember, when Allah blesses you, not everyone will celebrate it. So protect your peace wisely and keep your surroundings filled only with what brings you true barakah. 3. Old jewelry or amulets from unknown origins. Hidden energies. You shouldn't ignore jewelry, often carries deep personal energy. It touches the skin, absorbs emotions, and travels through many hands before it reaches you. That's why keeping old jewelry or amulets from unknown or doubtful sources can sometimes bring spiritual disturbances without you realizing it. What seems like a beautiful ornament might actually hold negative vibrations or even traces of harmful practices used by the previous owner. In many cultures, amulets and jewelry are exchanged with the intention of protection or love, but not all are spiritually pure. Some may have been used in rituals involving shirk, associating partners with Allah, or other superstitions. Mufti Menk often warns against keeping objects that claim to protect you through hidden powers or charms, because protection only comes from Allah, not from man-made symbols. Holding on to such items, especially when you don't know their background, can invite unseen negativity or even attract jinn. You might have inherited an old ring, pendant, or bracelet that looks precious but feels heavy or unsettling to wear. Pay attention to that feeling. Spiritual discomfort is a signal. Islam teaches us that anything doubtful should be avoided for the sake of our peace and faith. If you're unsure whether an item is spiritually clean, it's better to stay on the safe side. One way to purify jewelry you wish to keep is by performing ruqyah, reciting Quranic verses such as Ayat al-Kursi, Surah al-Ikhlas, al-Falaq, and An-Nas over it. Wash it with clean water while reciting Bismillah, or give charity with sincere intention to remove any evil effect attached to it. But if the piece still carries a strange feeling, or its origin remains suspicious, it's wiser to remove it from your home completely. Remember, your peace of mind is more valuable than any piece of metal or stone. Surround yourself with things that inspire remembrance of Allah and bring tranquility to your heart. Jewelry and ornaments are meant to adorn your life, not drain your energy or invite harm. When you keep only what's pure, both your environment and your soul feel lighter, allowing barakah, divine blessing, to flow freely into your home. 4. Gifts that remind you of sin or heartbreak. Emotional chains that block your peace. Sometimes, the most harmful items in our homes aren't the ones that look dark or strange. They're the ones that carry memories. A gift from someone who once led you towards sin, or from a relationship that ended painfully, might seem harmless sitting on a shelf. But spiritually and emotionally, it can keep reopening old wounds and holding you back from healing. Every object in your home carries a story. When that story is filled with guilt, regret, or sadness, it silently keeps you tied to the past. You might not realize it, but every time you glance at that gift, a perfume bottle from an ex, a piece of jewelry from a forbidden relationship, or a decorative item from a time when you drifted away from Allah, your heart revisits that chapter. These constant reminders disturb your emotional balance and make it harder to move forward. Islam teaches us to let go of what no longer benefits our iman, faith. Allah replaces what we leave for His sake with something better. Whoever leaves something for Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. Holding on to items linked with sin or heartbreak prevents that divine replacement. You might be seeking peace in dua, but your environment still whispers pain and memories that your soul is trying to forget. Letting go doesn't mean disrespecting your past, it means choosing peace over pain. If you find yourself emotionally attached to such gifts, part with them with gratitude for the lesson they taught you, then move on. Donate them, recycle them, or simply release them in a dignified way. This act of release is more than just physical decluttering, it's emotional cleansing. When you remove what reminds you of sin, you make space for light, barakah, and emotional renewal. Your home begins to feel lighter, your thoughts clearer, and your ibadah, worship, more focused. Remember, peace begins not just in prayer, but also in the energy surrounding you. So clear your space, clear your heart, and allow Allah to fill both with something far more beautiful and pure than what you left behind. 5. Statues or figurines of living beings. Silent barriers to peace and blessings. Many homes display decorative statues, figurines, or paintings of people, animals, or angels without realizing their deeper impact. While they may seem like harmless art pieces, Islam teaches us to be cautious about keeping images or sculptures of living beings. Scholars, including Mufti Menk, often remind us that such objects can prevent angels of mercy from entering a home, and without angels, a home loses much of its spiritual calm and barakah, blessing. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said that angels do not enter a house where there are images or statues of living beings. This isn't merely symbolic. It reflects how a home's atmosphere shifts when divine presence is absent. Statues, dolls, or portraits can unintentionally create a spiritual barrier that blocks serenity and attracts restlessness or negativity. In modern times, people often collect figurines, maybe a Buddha statue for peace, a bird sculpture for decoration, or a doll as part of interior design. But from an Islamic perspective, we don't seek peace through objects. Peace comes from dhikr, remembrance of Allah, prayer, and a purified heart. When our homes contain things that oppose divine guidance, even subtly, they disturb the spiritual frequency that invites tranquility. There's also a psychological element. Human or animal figures, especially those that resemble eyes or faces, can make the atmosphere feel watched, uneasy, or spiritually heavy. This isn't superstition. It's the way visual energy interacts with our minds and emotions. The less distraction we have from symbolic imagery, the more clarity and stillness we feel within. That doesn't mean your home must look dull or lifeless. Islam loves beauty, but beauty that uplifts the soul, not distracts it. You can decorate with calligraphy of Quranic verses, natural elements like plants, geometric Islamic art, or abstract designs that reflect harmony. These bring both elegance and peace, while aligning with spiritual values. If you already have figurines or statues, it's best to remove or cover them respectfully. Replace them with something that reminds you of Allah, perhaps a frame of Ayat al-Kursi or Surah al-Ikhlas. You'll notice a visible shift in how your home feels, calmer, lighter, and filled with an unexplainable sense of safety. True beauty isn't in art that imitates life, but in a home that radiates divine peace. 6. Used perfumes or personal items, carriers of hidden energy and emotion. Perfume is something deeply personal. It blends with a person's skin, their emotions, and even their spiritual energy. When you receive or keep used perfumes or personal items such as combs, scarves, or watches from others, especially non-family members, you're not just taking a gift. You're also inheriting traces of that person's aura and experiences. Islam acknowledges that energy, emotion, and nazar, the evil eye, are real forces that can travel through objects. Sometimes, people unknowingly accept used gifts, thinking it's a kind gesture, a half-used bottle of perfume, a beautiful scarf, or a piece of clothing. Yet these items might carry the emotional or spiritual residue of the person who once used them. If that person was struggling with jealousy, sadness, or impurity, those unseen vibrations can subtly affect your peace and mood. You might notice unnecessary fatigue, tension, or strange unease after keeping such things. Signs that your space's energy has shifted. Perfume, in particular, is sensitive. It interacts with one's natural scent, mood, and even emotional state. A used perfume can hold energy imprints of the previous owner's feelings, whether pride, sorrow, or envy. Mufti Menk and other scholars often remind us that purity is not just about cleanliness, but also about what we invite into our homes and souls. When we bring in items with unclear spiritual states, we may be unintentionally opening doors to negativity. That doesn't mean every second-hand or gifted item is harmful. Intention matters greatly. If something is given sincerely and purely, it can be a source of barakah. However, it's wise to spiritually cleanse any personal item before use. You can do this by reciting Bismillah over it, performing ruqyah with Surah Al-Falaq and An-Nas, or lightly sprinkling it with water while reciting Ayat al-Kursi. This helps neutralize any lingering negativity and invites divine protection. Still, if an item continues to feel uncomfortable or unsettling, don't hesitate to part with it. Your peace is more precious than any material gift. Surround yourself only with things that feel clean, sincere, and uplifting. When your possessions are pure, your mind and soul follow, and your home becomes a true reflection of inner calm and divine blessing. 7. Inherited items from non-practicing or evil people. When legacy becomes a burden. Inheriting something can feel special, a connection to your family's history, or a reminder of someone you once loved. But not every inheritance carries blessing. Islam teaches us that barakah, divine blessing, flows from purity of intention and obedience to Allah. When we inherit belongings from people who lived in disobedience, practiced superstition, or spread harm, their possessions may still carry traces of that energy. Think about it. Every object absorbs the habits, emotions, and spiritual state of the one who used it. A ring worn daily by someone involved in sinful behavior or a book filled with un-Islamic beliefs isn't just old stuff. It's a piece of a life that may have resisted Allah's guidance. Mufti Menk often reminds believers that not everything passed down through generations deserves to stay with us. Some things preserve love and faith, others preserve spiritual heaviness. You may feel sentimental about keeping an heirloom, perhaps an old sword, a diary, or a decorative charm from a relative who openly rejected faith or practiced black magic. But Islam values spiritual cleanliness above emotional attachment. If the person's life was filled with darkness, their belongings can subtly transmit that same atmosphere into your home. This isn't superstition, it's about emotional and spiritual influence. The solution is balance, not paranoia. Examine inherited items with wisdom. Ask, does this remind me of Allah or distance me from Him? If it's something useful and clean, Purify it with Ayat al-Kursi, Surah al-Falaq, and An-Nas, then keep it with gratitude. But if it feels uneasy or is connected to forbidden acts, let it go respectfully. Sell it, donate it, or discard it without guilt. Remember, you are not rejecting your family. You are protecting your peace. True inheritance is not gold or furniture. It's faith, character, and taqwa. When you choose to keep only what uplifts your soul, you honor your ancestors in the best way, by ensuring your home stays filled with light, not shadow. Release what carries darkness, and Allah will replace it with something better, purer, and far more blessed. 8. Decorations with strange symbols or faces, silent invitations to unseen negativity. Many people decorate their homes with artistic or cultural pieces without realizing what those designs truly represent. A wall hanging with mysterious symbols, a carpet with odd geometric shapes, or even a painting with unfamiliar faces might look beautiful. But spiritually, it could be carrying messages or energies that disturb your home's peace. Islam encourages us to be mindful of what surrounds us because our environment affects our hearts, thoughts, and even our iman, faith. Some symbols and designs found in modern decor have roots in paganism, occult traditions, or idolatrous rituals, such as the evil eye, all-seeing eye, or certain mystical geometric emblems. You may not intend harm by displaying them, but their origins still matter. Mufti Menk and other scholars often remind Muslims that angels of mercy avoid spaces where unclean or suspicious objects are displayed. A home filled with strange imagery can become spiritually heavy, even if it looks elegant on the surface. Psychologically, such items can also influence your mood and focus. Artwork featuring angry faces, chaotic designs, or eerie symbols can make the atmosphere tense and uneasy. Your home should feel calm, balanced, and centered on the remembrance of Allah, not filled with confusing or spiritually charged patterns that disrupt serenity. Instead, choose decor that radiates positivity and barakah. Replace questionable items with calligraphy of Quranic verses, Ayat al-Kursi, or Bismillah. Use natural artwork, soft colors, or geometric Islamic patterns that symbolize unity and order, all of which align with divine beauty. These not only elevate your home's appearance, but also attract peaceful, blessed energy that nourishes your spirit. If you already have decorations with unknown or foreign symbols, research their meaning. If they have roots in shirk, idolatry, discard them respectfully. Recite Surah al-Falaq and An-Nas to purify your space afterward. You'll likely notice an immediate difference. Your home will feel lighter, your thoughts clearer, and the environment more welcoming. Remember, your home should be a sanctuary, a place where angels feel comfortable to enter and where your heart feels close to Allah. Beauty in Islam isn't about trends or worldly art. It's about harmony, cleanliness, and spiritual safety. Protect your home from what confuses the soul, and fill it with reminders that bring peace to your heart. 9. Expired or unused religious gifts. When neglect turns blessing into burden. Sometimes, in our effort to honor religion, we collect Islamic gifts, Quranic calligraphy, framed Ayat al-Kursi, prayer mats, or books of dua. But over time, many of these items end up gathering dust, hidden behind other things, or stored away in neglect. What started as a symbol of faith can slowly become a forgotten object. Islam teaches us that barakah, blessing, lives where there is respect, remembrance, and purity, not neglect. An expired or unused religious item is not just physically old, it's spiritually unvalued. A Quran left unopened for months, or a prayer mat stuffed into a drawer, sends a quiet message of disregard, even if unintentional. Mufti Menk and other scholars often remind us that Islam is about action, not display. Keeping sacred items purely for decoration while ignoring their purpose can shift blessing away from your home. The same applies to taweez, written verses for protection, or Quranic decor that's faded, dirty, or forgotten. Such neglect turns them from reminders of Allah into symbols of carelessness. Instead of bringing peace, they can weigh on your conscience and disrupt the spiritual energy of your space. The solution isn't to throw them away thoughtlessly, but to treat them with respect. If an item is still usable, clean it gently, place it somewhere visible, and reconnect with its purpose. Read the Quran it contains. Pray on that mat again. Let these objects fulfill their original spiritual role as tools that draw you closer to Allah. If a religious gift is too damaged to restore, dispose of it respectfully by wrapping it and burying it in a clean place, or burning it in a dignified manner while reciting Bismillah. This ensures you're honoring the sacred words and maintaining spiritual hygiene in your home. When you actively engage with your Islamic items, your house becomes alive with remembrance, dhikr. The verses on your walls are no longer silent. They become part of your daily rhythm of worship. A clean, respected, and spiritually active environment invites angels and blessings to stay. Remember, faith isn't in the object itself. It's in the reverence you show toward what it represents. Keep every sacred item meaningful, and your home will remain filled with divine light and peace. 10. Gifts you secretly dislike or regret. Accepting the weight of unwanted energy. Not all negativity comes from visibly dark or suspicious things. Sometimes it hides behind what looks perfectly normal. A gift can be beautiful to others, but still feel wrong to you. Maybe you accepted it out of politeness, guilt, or obligation, even though your heart resisted. Islam teaches us that intention and emotion matter deeply, even in the things we keep. When you hold on to gifts you secretly dislike, you unconsciously store emotional tension and discomfort in your space. Everything around you carries emotional energy. A painting you dislike, a perfume that reminds you of an unpleasant person, or a decorative item that doesn't match your personality. These may subtly drain your peace every time you look at them. Mufti Menk often reminds us to surround ourselves with things that inspire calmness, gratitude, and connection to Allah, not frustration or unease. When your environment contains unwanted items, it becomes cluttered, not just physically, but emotionally. Keeping such gifts may also reflect a fear of judgment or a desire to please people over Allah. But remember, your home is your sanctuary. You are responsible for what energy stays in it. Holding on to something that disturbs your peace doesn't honor the giver. It dishonors your well-being. Islam encourages sincerity, ikhlas, and intention in every action, including what you choose to keep or discard. The best approach is gentle and graceful detachment. You don't have to throw it away angrily or disrespectfully. Simply acknowledge the gift, thank Allah for the thought behind it, and then decide what's best for your peace. You might re-gift it, donate it, or store it away until you're ready to release it. What matters is that you remove the emotional burden that keeps you restless. Once you let go of such unwanted gifts, you'll feel an almost immediate lightness, as if a quiet tension has lifted. Your surroundings will begin to reflect who you truly are and the peace you seek. Remember, barakah grows in spaces filled with sincerity, not obligation. Keep only what adds meaning, beauty, and spiritual calm to your home, and release whatever weighs down your heart. When you do, your home becomes not just cleaner, but truly blessed. Keep your home pure, your heart peaceful, and your faith strong. Let go of what blocks blessings. Say aloud and comment, "My home is filled with peace, light, and barakah." Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pious Deen for more spiritual wisdom.